So go out and like rapid prototype your life, like life is a big like design, like you design your life and you have to like prototype, you have to try this activity, say you like it, or learn this about yourself, or learn something new about yourself, and then kind of go from there. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about range by David Epstein. So when I gave my TEDx talk a couple years ago, I discussed how several experiences outside my main field, so like working with nonprofits, doing community outreach and public engagement, and working on urban farms, like how those experiences broadened my understanding of my main field, which is civil engineering. And in fact, it just broadened my understanding. In fact, it informed decision making to a certain extent of my field and the things that I was studying. As simple as it sounds, and understanding and like getting to witness how purposefully designed infrastructure or lack thereof impacts people or it acts as barriers to opportunity reinforced to me the power that civil engineering can have and does have. And at the same time, it showed me that civil engineering and the actual development process is just a piece of the puzzle when we're building a more equitable world. From this idea, from this experience, through my own reflection, I built a general framework that encourages each of us to be a little more open to a wide range of experiences that come our way, instead of sort of just like tunneling towards like a specific thing you want to be. I think that the main question I phrase it around is like, instead of asking what do we want to be when we grow up, we should ask what do we want to do when we grow up, because I believe like that is like a bit more open-ended. It gives us a chance to say yes to experiences we might not initially say yes to if we were trying to just become just one single thing. In a way, this reflects the basic premise of David Epstein's range. Range, as defined by David Epstein, is this sort of counterintuitive idea that a diversity of experiences will put you in the best position to succeed in your domain instead of early hyper-specialization. So what this means is it's important that you get a broader range of experiences, he's saying that it's important to get a broader range of experiences instead of trying to like get a head start and trying to focus and say this is the thing I want to do and you go right at it from the start. Today I want to talk about a few points that resonate with me and sort of how we can translate that or apply that to our lives today, regardless of where you are, whether you're in high school or college, or even if you've graduated already. Like, I think some of the points that he brings up can make a difference, or like at least change your approach to how you perceive like what does career development and career planning look like. Without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Fundamental to pursuing range instead of hyperspecialization is defining your domain type. Epstein states that domains usually have a kind or wicked learning environment. Kind learning environments are those where instinctive pattern recognition is rewarded with regular and accurate feedback. The primary examples he uses in the book are playing golf, playing chess, or even playing video games, with like little reset points, and you kind of learn every time how to beat the boss. The more you do it, the more you repeat it, the better you get at it, and eventually you can beat it and when you've achieved victory. Practically, you can think of examples of sort of kind learning environments as I think of them as like those in healthcare. My dad is a pharmacist and he practically knows everything about medicine. Input equals output. You feel a certain way, this medicine makes you feel better or addresses that pain point. You sort of know what it is. I'm not saying kind or wicked environments are like easier or harder than others. It's just that what makes a learning environment kind is one where, again, is repeated, where pattern recognition is rewarded with regular and accurate feedback. You know what your inputs are, and you know what outputs you get as a result if you perform like a set of steps. On the other hand, wicked learning environments are complex. They have unclear rules and may have unpredictable patterns. Feedback can be delayed or even inaccurate. One example of a wicked environment could be in urban development. So many factors come into play when we are building a city or building different aspects of cities, whether it's politics or economics or climate or even the people themselves. If we had a single formula for how we could build the perfect city every time, perfect equitable cities every time, without actually building and seeing how things like fail or things how work, if they work or they don't work, we'd have perfect cities everywhere without so many problems. Wicked environments benefit the most from range. So with this idea, I say take a look at sort of the field that you're interested in and try to identify, does it seem more of like a kind environment or like a wicked environment? And use that to inform the kind of experiences you should be saying yes to or saying no to. Now, I'd say most sort of career types or things people are interested in are complex, wicked environments, you know? And so that's why Epstein advocates for a generalist's approach, you know, going for diverse experience instead of hyper-specialization. Okay, besides kind and learning environments, another takeaway from the book is this idea of a sampling period. When I ask professionals to tell me about their career, they often describe very windy paths. You know, first I did this, I started with this job, I changed my major, I had this job before getting promoted to this job, and then before getting to the position they are today, which blows my mind because you see them in that position, you think, wow, like they know what they're doing, like they're in the perfect career spot, and like that's what I want to do. But I mean, they had to get there some way, somehow. It feels like we always want to know exactly the steps we need to take to get to a certain position. But the truth is, like, it's okay to not know. And in fact, it's okay and it's important for us to like try to have a sampling period where we sort of try a bunch of different things that we're interested in. I, and Epstein in his book, encourage you to have a sampling period where you try new things or things that interest you. This period can be while you're in high school or during college or even after, you know, formal education or after secondary education. Join clubs, join the leadership team for those clubs that you're involved with. Play an instrument and be a part of a band or an orchestra, or do it by yourself. Play a new sport and be a part of a team and learn what it's like to be on a team. Start a business and understand like what it takes to manage a supply chain. Take those lessons away with you, you know, take a coding class and to communicate a solution through a computer, which sort of forces you to communicate it in a logical manner. You know, Epstein examined the most successful athletes and musicians, and when he examined these folks, you find that you think that, oh, because they're so successful, they must have been doing this from the start, they must have an innate talent for this. However, we find that, or Epstein showed that these folks who succeed in their field actually had a very wide range of experiences growing up that sort of, and those experiences contribute to them being able to succeed in their field. The classic example is Roger Federer versus Tiger Woods. Roger Federer, you'd think this superstar tennis player, must have been playing tennis since he was born. However, growing up, he played badminton, he played soccer, he played a wide range of sports, and he didn't specialize till I think he was a teenager. He didn't like pick tennis as his main thing till he became a teenager. I know I mentioned Tiger Woods, but in golf since he was like 3 years old. He could play before he could even walk, and he became this superstar golfer. Tiger Woods is a good example of like early specialization, but through Epstein's research, he shows that early specialization is actually just the exception and not the rule. We don't have to specialize early to become like the best or like to succeed in whatever field we want to. You know, that happens sometimes. But for a lot of people who succeed in their fields, you see that they've had a really broad range of experiences. And so I say we take that and we sort of intentionally incorporate it into our lives. How can we intentionally have a sampling period in our lives? And this sampling period can be as long as you want it to be. It doesn't just have to be, oh, I'm out of high school now, I should have figured it out by now. I'm out of college, I'm in college, this is my sampling period, I should figure it out by now. Like, no, like, some people don't even like start specializing or like figuring out what they want to do to like their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. I think like J.K. Rowling didn't write Harry Potter until she was like, let's look it up real quick. J.K. Rowling didn't even start writing Harry Potter until she was 32. You know, like we don't have to have ourselves like figured out early on, and that's perfectly okay. On this note, I think it's important to understand that our careers, and some of the best advice that I've been given is that our careers isn't just a job that we have, or this job or the next job. It's the collection of experiences that we've had, that we're having. And here I count being, treasurer for a club. I count being a core member for a different team, or being a part of an orchestra, or being a part of, those are my experiences, being part of these different teams, clubs in high school, or in undergrad, or in whatever formal setting. You can count those. That's part of your career. That's part of who you are, and when you combine these experiences, these diverse range of experiences we have, with some adequate reflection, or some intentional and deep reflection, you will really set yourself up to succeed with whatever you end up deciding to do. You can take the skills of what it takes to be a part of an orchestra, understanding that I have to be listening to other people's parts. I have to be there's a way we can sort of organize a team. I think you could take some of those lessons and apply it to you running your own business one day, or you leading a team in a different setting. Being part of a soccer team teaches me I have to fight for my teammate next to me, and how can I apply that in different settings? And so take the things that we're involved with, or that you are interested in, and reflect on those experiences and be able to apply them in settings you might not think, so that you can apply them down the line. Doing this allows you to increase the broad range of experiences you can draw on when you decide to do whatever you want to do. Beyond just your career, it's important we try new things, because as Epstein says, we learn who we are through practice and not in theory. So we have to actually go out there and try new things. You can't just you can't just wish and say oh, this is for me, this isn't for me, without trying new things. And you learn more about yourself by actually doing. We learn by doing. So go out and rapid prototype your life. Life is a big design. You design your life, and you have to prototype. You have to try this activity, say you like it, or learn this about yourself, or learn something new about yourself, and then kind of go from there. In conclusion, Epstein makes several great points in this book about sort of different ways to think about. Epstein really reframes what the road to success looks like, instead of this specialized path. It's this sort of diverse range of experiences. To me, I took that as this is a way that you can sort of design your life. And I think I kind of believed this before I even read the book, through my own experiences. But having read this book now, I genuinely believe it. And I think that it's important to have a broader range of experiences, because then you can draw on them whenever you need. I don't want to rehash some of the points I've already made. If you've read it, comment below ways you've pursued range in your life. And if you haven't read it, go read it, and then comment ways you will plan on pursuing range in your life, or getting a diverse range of experiences, whether you're in high school or college or post-grad. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.